In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. Our guest in studio, Darren DeHaan of the City of Oregon, Oregon City Manager. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you in here. Lots of stuff always happening in Oregon. I have to say that community, you guys are always working on keeping things beautiful. Of course, you've got the adjacent parks that keep everything looking nice. But I really wanted to talk to you this morning about trees.
Sure.
Yeah, because you guys go out of your way to fall in love with trees.
We do. I think it's a big part of our community identity. You know, we've got Route 2 and 64. You come into Route 2 along the river and these beautiful tree-lined streets.
Yeah.
And then our neighborhood streets as well have these majestic old trees. So it's definitely part of our beautiful identity in Oregon.
And you guys actually have a committee, right? A board whose job it is to manage the trees? That seems strange to me, I guess. Explain to me what that does.
Yeah, really, what we did is we drew together a group of very knowledgeable individuals that have passion for trees to kind of help guide the city council in managing our trees in the community. So they've done great work helping us identify the right trees for the right spaces. And then once we applied for our Tree USA designation, Tree City USA designation, they were integral as taking a look at our ordinance and some of the things that we had to do for that program. So it's a great group that we've utilized. And that
has really helped, obviously. The thing with trees is that the stuff you're doing now, the impact is 40 years from now.
It is. And you know, when you start to look at, if you start to kind of take a look at the benefits of trees, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's soil preservation, it's clean air, shade so that your air conditioner doesn't have to work it hard. The list goes on and on. So, but yeah, it has an effect way down the road. So we're setting the future by planting a tree.
City of Oregon, of course, your guys' park district does a fantastic job too. Keeping that community being a place that people want to hang out and visit. I'm going to ask you personally, Darren, what's your favorite feature of Oregon? Where is a spot in town you like to go and hang out and go, wow, this is great that we have this in our community?
Oh, my gosh.
I put you on the spot, I know.
You know, and it's speaking to our park district and the great job they do. You know, on both sides of our river, there's great viewing stations. They just upgraded one on the east side of the river. So if you go out there on that platform and watch the sunset over the Rock River, that is my favorite place. You can see the courthouses in the background. Like, there's nothing better. I took a beautiful photo the other night there, and it just has a special feeling.
I did too, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, no, it was great. That big giant log still hanging on that dam, though.
It is, yeah. It's always a mystery how they get hung up and how long they stay.
And when do they leave? Do you guys just take bets on when they take off?
Yeah, that's a good. We could maybe do that as a fundraiser.
You should name it. You know, this is Hank the log. When will he fall off the spillway in Oregon?
I know. It is always a mystery how they end up there and how they stay. So
the Rock River, a beautiful feature of Oregon. As city manager, you have a lot of responsibilities in regards to the actual operation of the town. And obviously, we started off our conversation talking about things that you don't do anything with. You just sort of nod and go, yeah, they're doing their thing.
Sure.
What are some of the duties that you do to help bring either economic growth to the community or even residential growth to the community?
Yeah, you know, I work hand in hand, obviously, with the mayor and elected officials. We set vision, they set vision, and then my job is to try to kind of make that happen. So this year, one of those things we had early on, we had a discussion about trying to increase our tourism. You know, so we started working on marketing plans. We know we get a lot of visits from the western suburbs, Milwaukee, from the data that we see. So we started doing some target marketing there and just sharing all of the great things that we have. The other side of things is as I work with property owners or business owners, if a space is going to become empty, I start working to try and draw new businesses in that space. We have great programs. We have a rent incentive for unique businesses to come in, help solidify their first year. We know that's always tough for a new business. And it goes down to even we had a residential property on Route 64 that was taken down, and we draw that owner in so we could take a look at what's the next step for that property. It could probably convert over to a commercial property. try to draw in whatever we can to give amenities to our visitors and our residents. So
your downtown is great. Obviously, the county courthouse there, sort of the showpiece of your downtown, but that whole downtown square, you guys are working hard to not only keep those storefronts full, but looking fresh as well. And you've got some big projects this summer that may be a little bit of a headache for people visiting Oregon for a brief time.
Yeah, every time I mention road projects, right, everybody kind of cringes. But, certainly once those projects are done and you got those nice smooth roads without the potholes, it's such a great thing. But two big projects. One, IDOT is going to come in and resurface Route 64 from Mount Morris all the way through Oregon to the other side of the bridge on the east side. And then we've got what we call as our streetscape project. We have one block left of our downtown sidewalk that is still kind of old and dilapidated. And so that's going to be done here, hopefully, after July 4th. We're going to try to get through the holiday and then get things torn up. And I've been promised that should be a smooth transition to get that new sidewalk and approach. We're also going to continue that sidewalk across our Sarah Phelps Plaza, which currently still has the old drive-through, drive-in. And so it's going to kind of help set that park off, or plaza, excuse me. We're going to set that plaza off with that new sidewalk for access.
That plaza is unique. I checked it out the other day, and how it's set up and how you repurposed a property that was a commercial structure and you made it sort of a community gathering place. How long did that take to put together, and did it take some selling to come up with the idea to turn it into what it is today?
That has been such a unique project. It was kind of the vision of Mayor Williams. I think he got started on it maybe in 2017. He worked with some local banks to fund. Basically, step one was to just put in a public restroom. If you go to some communities that have downtown shopping, a lot of times there's not restrooms available. They're older buildings, those types of things, so there's no public access. And then we're a huge bike community. And so his vision was to have a space people could stop on their bikes or, whatever it is, use that public restroom, which was very popular. So that was kind of phase one. Then a group of individuals came together and started envisioning what more that it could be. And then really the concept was trying to change this, urban plaza into a more friendly green space. And every step we take, we try to make that conversion. So can't really kind of get rid of the blacktop. That's a big project. But we brought in some of our old downtown planters. Hegemans have planted that. It's beautiful. Gives a really nice backdrop. It's meant to kind of block out the parking lot and really kind of create this really succinct space. Then brought in just picnic tables where people can just grab a lunch. You go to Subway, you can go over there and just relax. One of the big requests because of the heat is umbrellas. They're supposed to be delivered today. And so that's kind of been one of those things. I always worried about the weather and things like that. But I think they're going to be fine, or they'll end up, we'll get them picked up if the wind blows. But we'll have shade there for that space throughout the summer. So just making small progress to keep that space available for the public.
And it's really unique. I haven't seen anything like that in any other community where you guys have sort of that. It's like an urban. It's urban. I mean, there's asphalt there, so it's definitely a city environment. But with the picnic tables, it is sort of like just an outdoor sort of plaza area you'd find in a larger community, just right there, just off the square in Oregon. It's a very nice little setup there, and you're upgrading the sign.
And we're upgrading the sign, so that's been quite a process. Obviously, we're very sensitive that we have certain rules in place to maintain our historic district in the downtown, and we're a part of that with that plaza. But through our conversations and vetting this kind of through our planning committee, is we get so many requests to put messages up on that current sign where you have to lift up the plexiglass, hold it up, put those letters in. And then there's times I have to tell community events that, hey, we don't have space for you. We can't get you up there. So we just felt it was time to take a look at this project where we can get information out, both emergency information, if there's, hydrant flushing, road projects can blip up there, but certainly using it for our events, all the great things that are happening in Oregon.
So any community event that uses more than 12 letters, they will soon have a place where they can display their announcement.
They will. Yeah. Yes.
Limited by characters. Another question about your community and how Oregon is developing and growing. We've had Mayor Williams on in the past, and you guys have talked about your incentive to get new home construction in. Existing residents as well probably want to stay in Oregon. What do you tell those existing residents who have seen that, they built their house 7 years ago and now you guys are doing all this extra stuff? What do you tell them about what the community can do for them?
Yeah, we're constantly looking at things that we can help our residents. We know that there are people on fixed incomes. We've talked about possible programs where we can help help them fix their property. We've had some conversations with some of our churches and some local groups that might help facilitate those things. So we never forget about anybody. I think we take a broad stroke approach, both of our existing citizens, business owners, and then where we're looking at the future. The biggest thing is, if you're not moving forward, you're standing still, and proper residential growth is important for every community. We've seen exodus from Illinois and other states, so we want to do our job is to show the benefit of living in a small town in Illinois. And so part of those incentive programs to get things building again they're vital. We're just not seeing residential growth anywhere, and we want to be a part of starting that catalyst.
Looking into the crystal ball, I know you guys have, obviously laid out a comprehensive plan, which is sort of a community's crystal ball, as it were, is where you're going. What projects do you guys have lined up in the immediate future? Things that are on the back burner that you're going to be sliding to the forefront in 2025, 2026, 2027? Because I always know every city has something that they're working on. Like you're going to be either expanding an industrial area or getting a subdivision rolling, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the comprehensive plan, I think I call as our wish list, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of projects in there that are a lot of, it's going to take a lot of effort and funding to do. But, one of the biggest things that we've been working on lately and is going to carry forward to the future is walkability. We are a community that people want access to all the amenities by foot or by bike. So we're looking at areas that are not currently connected with sidewalks or paths. So we want to keep continuing that focus. I had a great group that came together and did a walkability study, so I use that as a guide of what we want to fix. That's kind of where our Safe Routes to School grant came out of that plan to kind of fix some of that need around our school. So I think that's kind of our big focus next. It's always riverfront redevelopment. Every community that have riverfront is trying to revitalize it with a new vision, switching over from the old industry to public access. So we have space that's available. I meet with potential investors on developing that riverfront property as often as I can to try and draw some attention here. So you just got to find the right person for the right project, and hopefully we see some growth along our river as well.
If you could borrow or steal something from another community, whether it be, not necessarily just like a particular business or types of residents, I'm just talking like in general, is there something that you think Oregon could use that another community has? Is there, like you mentioned, walkability? Does another community have, a bike system that just blows you away that you guys are jealous of? Is there something out there like that you're like, oh boy, Oregon needs this bad?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I think we're looking at is connectivity, right? So you talk about the mobility within our community, but we also want to take a look at connecting to other communities. So I've actually drawn together at the request of one of my city council members a group of about 35 people that are looking at that. What we'd like to see is Dixon connecting to Polo, which is very close with the Joe Stengel Trail. But then how do we connect Polo with Mount Morris with Oregon? Oregon is already connected with Byron with the Route 2 wide shoulder. And then, as I've been told, is IDOT is going to do a wide shoulder from Byron to Rockford. So literally you could have recreation connectivity from Dixon all the way up to Rockford. And we think that could be a great draw for both housing development along those paths, however we get it done. So I've had some conversations, preliminary conversations with IDOT, Ogle County Engineer Jeremy Cecil, and then this group of citizens that have come together. And it's always pie in the sky, kind of. That's where things start. So I like that focus for us. I think that's good for tourism. I think that's good for our community. And it's just some hurdles we got to get over and try to make that happen. So if we could get that done, that would be a great success.
And now I'm putting you on the spot. How many miles a week do you ride your bike?
Well, right
there you
now,
go. See, you're turning red.
Yeah, I bought a Harley a few years ago,
Yeah,
so that's the one I'm on most of the time. So,
yeah, exactly.
But it's a great experience, and I know we have a lot of passionate people that like the pedal cycles as well. So
bicycling is a big thing, and of course, it is good for the outdoor activities. Oregon has plenty of great parks and other things going on. What are some upcoming festivals you guys have in the works?
Yeah, obviously the big one is Audubon Parade coming up. Right after that, we have Candlelight Walk, so looking for those. I know there's been some conversations about trying to draw another festival into Oregon, so that's in the works right now. I don't really have much concept other than the people that are interested in kind of putting something together. So it's always great, the citizens that we have, the volunteers that we have, they're always pushing Oregon, the small community forward to do big things. So
to find out more about the City of Oregon, there's a website.
cityoforegon.org.
Pretty simple there. Darren DeHaan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.